Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to the session, and I hope you enjoyed the role play that we did yesterday, and there were loads of learning in it for everyone. So while there were learnings for all of you as well as those who were giving an interview and taking an interview, but there were learnings definitely for us also. For Ali as well, for the interviewers as well. So I think it was an excellent session in that way. There was काफी gray area जिसके लिए प्रिपेयर नहीं होते हैं, आइडियाज नहीं होते, सब नहीं होते, उनकी काफी सारी डिस्कशन हुई और which included discussion on salary and questions related to star methodology.
सर आपकी वॉइस क्लियर नहीं आ रही.
Sorry, am I audible? Arsalan, can you hear me?
No.
मेरा ऑडियो and I'm sorry डिस्कनेक्ट हो रहा है बार-बार, so I switch my Wi-Fi. नहीं, वो डिस्कनेक्ट हो रहा है मुताहिद, कोई कुछ और वजह है शायद. But anyway, so if you can very quickly go to the interviewers and interviews for we already have Mohammad Mohsin Siddiqui with us. पैनल प्रमोट करने लगा हूं. Mohammad Mohsin Siddiqui. I can see you there. Mohsin, if I can unmute you, you can unmute yourself.
Sir. Do you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Gee, now I can hear. Okay, sorry. So, मैं आपको अब I'm going to move you as a panelist. Okay. Yes. And from yesterday's session,
हारून साहब आपकी आवाज कट रही बहुत ज्यादा.
we had viewers where I am going to list make a list. Yeah. And
मोताहिद प्लीज आप हारून साहब को क्या आपकी आवाज
मुझे enable them can you try? Can you hear me?
यस सर, बट आपकी आवाज काफी डिस्टॉर्शन है, आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं है.
हाँ बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आ रही है. हाँ बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आ रही है. इसको आप एक दफा इसको कन्वर्ट कर लें, चेंज कर लें वाईफाई नेट.
Okay, is this network any better?
Yes, much more.
Okay. चलिए, I'm once again trying to. Okay, we already have Mohammad Mohsin Siddiqui and we have Akbar Panjani. एक हमारी जज और भी थी. I'm looking for her. Please raise hand.
Maria. Maria.
Maria Sheikh.
Maria Sheikh. मुत्तहिद देखें, if you can see her, please promote her as a panelist as well. In the meanwhile, मोहसिन आप अपना CV जो है वो प्लीज मुत्तहिद को भेजें ताकि वो शेयर किया जा सके स्क्रीन.
जी.
मारिया is there, लेकिन मारिया का माइक्रोफोन enabled नहीं है.
ये सेंड किधर
Okay.
करनी है?
मारिया को एज अ पैनलिस्ट ऐड
जी.
कर दिया.
जी, ऐड
ठीक
हो
कर
गई
दिया
है.
मैंने.
जी.
Okay. चलिए, I think all set. Let's not waste any more time. And
Yes.
मोहसिन अगर आपने अपना CV शेयर कर दिया है, there you go.
सर
Perfect.
किधर भेज?
ठीक.
ये
यहाँ
आ
आ गई.
गया मोहसिन आ गया. जी.
नहीं सर, ये वाली नहीं है, मैंने रीडिजाइन करी है सीवी पूरी.
Okay.
चले.
अच्छा, very good.
वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट में जो आपने शेयर किया उसकी बात कर रहे हैं.
जी वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट वाली.
चलें जी, वो शेयर करें. Akbar Panjani, is it convenient for you to switch on the cam?
Yes, I'm trying to switch my webcam on, but there again is some internet issues at our end. Because of
Okay.
Shalom, there are certain connectivity issues in certain areas.
Okay.
चले, never mind. अगर हो जाता है well and good. अगर नहीं होता तो let's not compromise on audio quality also.
Yeah, perfect.
So
perfect.
leave it off if you can't.
Yes, Mohsin, very good.
मोहसिन आपने आज I'm sure आप formal attire में आज are you ready for the interview?
सर
हम आज
शर्ट पहनी है बस खाली.
Okay, so I'm sorry but थोड़ा सा है personal, लेकिन आज हम attire पे भी बात करेंगे, ठीक है? So he'll probably ask you to stand up and then sit down, and so that we can see you know how you're dressed up for the occasion. Okay, that's all part of the training. And chale, theek hai. As long as you're not putting on Bermudas or anything, you're wearing a trouser, you should be fine.
नहीं है सर, वैसे भी मेरा इंटरव्यू है 3-4 दिन बाद जो है सीईओ से, जो है एक कंपनी के, तो उसके लिए
Oh, that's very
मैं
important.
प्रॉपर फॉर्मल वेयर करूँ.
चलें, मुत्तहिद हम आपका वेट कर रहे हैं या आपने अभी वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट लोड नहीं किया?
हाँ, मुत्तहिद का वेट हो रहा है वो.
सर मैंने लोड किया था बट सम एरर. लेट मी.
आप ये वाली क्या है जी?
is open another application.
आपने किसी एप्लीकेशन में ओपन किया हुआ, अपनी सारी ऐप्स बंद कर दें आप बाकी.
ओके.
जो आपकी जितनी ऐप्स खुली हैं ना, इंक्लूडिंग वो सब बंद कर दें. अगर नहीं मुमकिन हो रहा तो मोहसिन आप प्लीज अपना सीवी खुद ऑन कर लें, हम आपको प्रेजेंटर बना देते हैं.
ठीक है सर, ये ओपन है मेरे
वो
सामने.
थोड़ा सा इनकन्वीनियंट हो जाएगा. अगर आपसे नहीं हो रहा तो फिर आप प्रेजेंटर बना देते हैं. लेट्स नॉट वेस्ट टाइम यार, इसको जरा जल्दी कर लें प्लीज.
Assalamualaikum everyone.
वालेकुम सलाम.
अस्सलामुअलैकुम मारिया.
One chance.
जी मोहसिन, आप आपके पास स्क्रीन शेयरिंग की ऑप्शन अवेलेबल है. आप शेयरिंग वाले टैब पे जाके जो गो टू वेबिनार का मेन्यू है उसमें शेयरिंग की ऑप्शन अवेलेबल होगी. शेयरिंग पे जाके शो योर स्क्रीन कह दें. स्क्रीन के आगे जो डाउन एरो है या वहां से सिलेक्ट कर लें या डायरेक्टली शो योर स्क्रीन कह दें. Everybody should be able to see your screen then. मुझे मोहसिन की पिक्चर फ्रीज हुई भी नजर आ रही है. इज दैट द केस? सब लोगों के साथ ऐसे ही हो रहा?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think videos या तो आप off करवा दें, because then I think net शायद सही चले लोगों का.
जी, मैंने अपनी वीडियो ऑफ कर दी है, लेकिन हम एटलीस्ट इंटरव्यूअर्स और इंटरव्यूवीज की जाएंगे, उनकी वीडियोस
जी.
अवेलेबल रहें ताकि हम स्पेशली जो इंटरव्यूवी, ताकि हम फेशियल एक्सप्रेशंस और कॉन्फिडेंस नोट कर सकें.
Yeah. जी.
बट हरुण साहब, लास्ट डे वी हैव डन द सेम एक्टिविटी, इतना कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आया था शायद, है ना?
तो हो सकता है मोहसिन के एंड पे आ रहा होगा.
I think Mohsin is not in. अच्छा, he's there. Okay.
सर मैं शेयर कर देता हूँ, मेरे पास खुल गई है.
हो गया, ठीक है. मोहसिन, आप can you switch on your camera only now if you can hear us? Mohsin, if you're there, I think Mohsin का नेट नहीं वर्क कर रहा. अच्छा, चलें जितनी देर में मोहसिन वापस आते हैं या रीजॉइन करते हैं, can we have volunteers for today's interviews also? And remember, हमारे पास 3 पोजीशंस थी, आज हम दो पोजीशंस का एटलीस्ट इंटरव्यू दोबारा ट्राई करेंगे. एक अभी मैनेजर इंटरनल ऑडिट की पोजीशन के लिए हम कर रहे होंगे
जी.
और दूसरी असलान फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर के लिए करें या फाइनेंस एग्जीक्यूटिव के लिए कर लें?
सर मेरा ख्याल है एक सीनियर हो जाए और एक जूनियर पोजीशन, एक मतलब मिड टायर जूनियर पोजीशन के लिए हो जाए, फाइनेंस एग्जीक्यूटिव के लिए, दोनों टेस्ट आ जाएंगे.
चलें, ठीक है. दूसरा हम फाइनेंस एग्जीक्यूटिव के लिए कर रहे होंगे.
जी.
So please, जो लोग फाइनेंस एग्जीक्यूटिव के लिए, and I'm particularly talking to affiliates or fresh members, young members, finance executive की पोजीशन के लिए please raise hands so that we can finalize the candidates.
Participants, please thumbs up, please. मतलब जो करना चाह रहे हैं, raise your hand so that we can conclude it very positively. Ultimately आपको ही इसका edge जाएगा. Kindly raise your hand so that we हम अपना time ना ज़ाया करें. जी, attendees में
We have 1, 2, 3, 4 hand raises.
जी.
मोहसिन once again, मोहसिन ने मेरे ख्याल रीजॉइन किया है. मैं मोहसिन को दोबारा पैनलिस्ट बना रहा हूँ. ओके. और आई थिंक हम तीनों को, मिर्जा अवैस बेग हैं, वर्दा नियाज हैं और हसन साले हैं.
जी.
मैं इन चूंकि हमने हैंड रेज कराया हुआ है, लेट्स वेरी क्विकली हैव अ वर्ड विद देम, then we'll pick up who is going to be our next interviewee. Okay, so मैं आप तीनों को unmute कर रहा हूँ. Just give us a quick introduction of where you're currently working, and this is actual one by one. Let Mirza Awais Beg go first.
Assalamualaikum, sir. Sir, I'm currently working in Deloitte, Pakistan, in their financial advisory and consulting practice, and I've made my CV as management consultant accordingly, and I have approximately 10 years of rich and diversified working experience in 2 of the global Big 4 firms, including PwC. And I am passionate about ESG, ethics, governance matters, financial inclusion, SME development sector in Pakistan. And in fact, I am currently working directly with leadership in some strategic matters as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Please put yourself back on mute. Varda, can you please unmute yourself and a 30-second introduction?
Hello everyone. I am an ACCA and at the Pepsi bottling company in Islamabad. as an accounts receivable specialist. I only have about a year and a half of experience as executive.
Okay, thank you. Hassan Saleh.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
Okay, sir. Just to briefly introduce myself, I'm like ACCA member, and I have been associated with the audit and assurance profession for the last 3 years. I am not currently working anywhere at the moment. I have recently completed my KPMG articles in audit, and I just raised my hand because I know you have requested affiliates and finalists. So I thought if nobody is coming up, then I will go ahead. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much. Votes, Arsalan, who do you vote for? कौन हमारा interview है ना? दो interviews pick कर लेंगे. And then Sana.
Sir, I think एक तो हमारे पास मोहसिन तो है ही है ना. Now we need one more to select.
दो कर लेते हैं ना. अगली पोजीशन के लिए हम जल्दी कर सके तो हम दो इंटरव्यूज कर लेंगे.
ठीक हो गया.
तो मेरी रिकमेंडेशन होगी मिर्जा वैस बेग एंड वर्दा नियाज. हसन चूंकि ऑफर कर रहे हैं, अगर हम इनमें से कोई विड्रॉ करता तो फिर हम
Okay, go with your recommendations. Go with your recommendations.
सना, आपका क्या ओपिनियन है?
I agree with you. I think they both are fine. We can go ahead.
Great, thank you very much. चलिए जी, let's begin with the first interview, and we have Mohsin live online and also our interviewers. So over to the interviewers, please.
So shall I start?
Before starting interview, I want to add something. अच्छा,
Yeah, sure.
ये जो CV है, मैंने इसको भी रीड्राफ्ट किया है. इसको भी और थोड़ा सा छोटा किया था. इसमें भी बहुत सारी चीजें लिखी हुई थी. इसके अंदर स्किल सेट और एजुकेशन नहीं आ रही थी, तो उसको 2 पेज के ऊपर लेकर आया. बहरहाल इसके अंदर काफी चीजें वो मौजूद हैं जो उसको रीड्राफ्ट करने के बाद नई CV में दी हैं. आप इसके ऊपर कंटिन्यू कर लें.
ठीक है मोहसिन. जी मारिया, हरी अप.
Assalamu alaikum, Mohsin.
जी, वालेकुम अस्सलाम.
Thank you, Mohsin, for showing up for the interview today. And first, we would like to know: are you very comfortable reaching here? Was it
Yes, I am
easy
very
for you?
comfortable.
And would you
Yes.
like to have some water or tea?
Virtual tree.
Mohsin, you're in a
Mohsin, be
mock interview.
serious.
Behave like the one.
So this how she could offer me the tea over here.
All right, let's move on then. Okay, Mohsin.
Mhm.
Okay, can you please tell me something about yourself?
Yes,
You should be
okay.
precise.
I'm people-oriented person, and I have great interest in politics of the Pakistan.
Okay. That's all?
Yes, that's it. You said precise.
Anything about your academic or professional background? Would you like to add something?
Okay. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm Hafiz Quran, and I started my schooling after this. I started my schooling from class 7. That's it.
Okay. And what about your ACES experience up till now and your employment experience so far?
Okay.
And your academic background? You have told me the academic background, the professional one, including ACCA also.
The professional background is only dependent upon ACCA. However, what did you ask? Anything else? My
And your
professional
employment
background. Okay.
experience.
The other professional background. Okay. I was employed at MDA, Malay Development Authority. Basically, this is a self-governing body of the city. I've written about it, the organization, or am I required to tell about the organization?
You have to just give me 2 minutes of your background. So fine, let's move on then.
Okay.
It's okay.
Basically, I worked as senior auditor in the local government organization. The organization is named as Malay Development Authority. Karachi is divided into 3 authorities. KDA, MDA, LDA. The land of the MDA starts from the super highway till the end of Jamshoro.
Okay, thank you for your knowledge and giving us this kind information. Let's move on with our second question. Mohsen, tell me, what are your skills that you think that would be helpful in our current role you've applied for?
Communication.
Any more? Any further? Apart from just communication.
People management, conflict management, people management, stakeholder relationship.
Okay. And what are your weaknesses?
Weaknesses, overthinking.
Sure. What have you so far come up with indicating this issue of yours?
I'm just involving myself into activities that
Such as?
or not, such as like cattle farming, gardening, other supporting activities for my family businesses.
Okay. Okay, Mohsen, would you like to tell something about your family background?
Yes, my entire family background is from government organization, and we have our small business also.
Okay, and how many family members?
6 family members, including me.
Okay, are you the youngest? You're the eldest?
I'm the eldest one.
Okay. And what are your future plans? Where do you see yourself in upcoming 5 years?
Strategic management accountant.
All right. At what level do you see yourself in coming 5 years?
I said strategic management accountant. Strategic something at senior
Okay,
level.
okay. I got it. Okay. And tell me something about like, have you ever faced any ethical dilemma in your current role you're performing, PIA?
No, I haven't.
Dilemma, any conflict management situation you have ever came across, and you try to resolve it along with your team?
Yes, normally okay. Conflict management tend to arise at MDA. Basically, this is a local government organization, so we tend to have a lot of conflicts with local government and political parties. So this is just a normal activity for us.
All right. It seems like you have a quite good interest in political side of the country. And do you really see yourself to join a private organization ahead? Or you still would, for example, if you get any government organization opportunities ahead, would you be able to
basically
see yourself in long term with us, in long term employment with us, because we are a private organization?
Okay. Basically, I just want to diversify myself just to become a dynamic candidate. I'm the one who's having the greatest knowledge and understanding of the public sector organization. I want to get the greatest knowledge and understanding of private sector organization also. I worked MDA at around 7 years.
Okay. Sure. Okay. जी, please go on. जो भी पूछना चाहिए.
जी अकबर पंजान अकबर मैं चाहूंगा कि आप इसको आगे कंटिन्यू करें. Thank you.
So how are you doing, Mohsen?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine.
First of all, really sorry that we had to send you back yesterday without conducting your interview because we were rushing.
Not an issue for me.
Okay. So from your responses, I just got a feeling that you have good communication skills. You mentioned that as well, that it's its strength. So if I may ask you to say a few words about current economic landscape of the country. So if you could just speak for like 30 seconds.
Okay. Sir, it is full of uncertainty.
You have to speak for 30 seconds to demonstrate that you have good communication skills.
Yes, sir. I said I have communication skill, but I cannot define uncertainty in 30 seconds. It depends upon multiple factors of the region, factors of the country also. Right now, sensitivity is dependent upon the Senate election.
What do you think are the primary factors
I think
of
I
the
just summed up
uncertainty?
the entire scenario. That entire
Okay, so
politics.
how positive you are with the current political government or the current government of Pakistan? How you see that the performance of the government is supporting the economic condition of the country?
The overall economic performance is not good. However, the intention of the government seems to be good because leadership has great insight. और मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली जो कहते हैं ना, उर्दू में मैं बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि मैं मैसेज ज़्यादा अच्छे से कन्वे कर दूंगा, इखलाकियात बहुत ज़रूरी होती हैं, ख़ास तौर पे सरकारी महकमों में, और लीडरशिप अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इखलाकियात वाले हैं, इखलाक के मारे हैं। और इशू जो है, अब आप पूछ रहे हैं तो उर्दू में बहुत अच्छे से ज़्यादा समअप कर सकता हूँ। इशू जो है वो हमारे मुल्क के अंदर दो इशू है, एक पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप है, एक ब्यूरोक्रेसी है, दोनों का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है आपस में। ये कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट हो जाएगी, इंशाल्लाह कंट्री सही तरीके से रोड मैप पे आ जाएगी। I think I have answered the question.
Okay, okay, perfect. So we have a process of job rotation in our organization. So you get to work in different departments and different functions. So besides finance and audit, do you think you have some skills which you think will help you work in departments like strategy or sales?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, that I am good in communication. In every department, communication is essential and stakeholder management is necessary. Without them, one cannot do anything.
Okay, so just couple of last questions from my side. If during a course of an assignment you come across a fraud, so what would you do? What would be your approach towards it?
I would like to know my role in this project first. What is my role? What is my hierarchy?
You are working in a team. You're working in a team under your line manager, and you have come across certain fraud in a process you were auditing. So what would be your approach? What would you do with it?
I think you have not getting my question first. I asked what is my team based upon? Who are the team members of my team? What is my line?
So you have a
Line
manager.
management first.
You have a line manager
Okay.
to report, and you are working.
Okay,
You are
I'm the line.
working
Okay, okay. Immediate boss, obviously line manager first.
So you report to him.
Obviously.
What if he disagrees with you? What if he says this is not a fraud? Just leave it. We don't have to report such things in our report.
Sir, this is very simple. Written representation is a very great representation. I'll put it in an email.
You'll send an email to your boss.
So things which
asking
are
him to
written,
give you
yes,
the response
obviously
in writing.
I'll send it in written representation.
Okay.
I get the response. What if I get the response? So is it your question if I get the response in writing from him?
Sorry,
Hello?
I didn't get you. Yeah, can you hear me?
So was the question that, yes, I can hear you. Was the question that I get the response in writing that it wasn't a fraud by him? Is that a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know your approach. What would be your approach? So you mentioned you'll send an email to your line manager asking him to give you the written confirmation that we don't want to get this thing into our report. That's what you said. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly.
Okay.
First I will email him, then I'll call him. Boss, this is the thing I have noticed. I have already done this. Please do let me know.
Okay, perfect. So if I may ask you to give some primary risks in the HR function, what would they be?
I haven't worked in HR department. However, the main primary reason what I think in HR function is getting the individual who doesn't suit the environment, the individual without competencies and skills. This is the major risk in HR department.
Perfect. Just one last question from my side. How you think that you would add value to our organization? What new you have to bring on the table?
Please tell me about the organization itself first. What organization is?
So haven't you
Akbar,
researched about
1 minute.
your
Have you researched before coming to the interview regarding our organization? Up to now, the financial, anything, you know?
मैं ऐसे समथिंग ये तो एक मॉक इंटरव्यू है ना, इसके अंदर कुछ बताया भी नहीं गया, 1 मिनट पहले डायरेक्ट इंटरव्यू स्टार्ट हो गया
नहीं,
कि
हम तो आपसे
बात भी नहीं
जनरल
बताई
पूछ
गई
रहे
कि
हैं,
ऑर्गेनाइज
आपकी जनरल
Okay,
आंसर।
conclude the interview, Ji. Then we will come up with the feedback. Please conclude the interview, Akbar. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so just a question, a brief one. Just assume that we are an FMCG.
ओके
FMCG. So I'm just asking what
Okay.
you have, or what something new you can bring to the table. So what value will you be able to add in our organization if we hire you?
Sir, timely reporting, efficient risk management, compliance, and ethics.
Do you have any experience in risk management?
Yes, sir, I do have great experience. You have my CV in front of you.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Musa.
Ji. Thank you, Ji.
Welcome.
Sana, I would like to give you an opportunity to give the feedback. You can give the feedback openly. There is no restriction or
जी जी
something.
आप
It
बहुत
is
खुल के दे सकती हैं, मैंने लिखा हुआ है, लिखने के लिए भी रखा हुआ है।
Ji. I'm asking, please, Harun sahab, mute to Mohsin, and Hassana, please start with your feedback. Thank you, Sana.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Assalamualaikum.
Morning, Assam. The interview on the whole, I think, if I am to start with, जब मैं पूरा इंटरव्यू सुन रही थी, it wasn't clear to me कि हम क्या बात कर रहे हैं, हम किस पोजीशन का इंटरव्यू ले रहे हैं, right? It just came across as a very generic conversation. There was no focus on, the particular position at hand, and there was an apparent tension between the interviewee and the interviewer, right?
Yes,
So
obviously.
देखिए, आजकल the kind of situation we're in, there are a lot of interviews that take place online. It's very important for the interviewee to respect the interviewer, and for the interviewer also to hold back a little. Don't show your agitation right away, right? जैसे Mohsin, if I come across, अगर मैं आपकी उसके ऊपर बात करूं, I think you did not took the interviewer very seriously to begin with. बहुत casual behavior था, ठीक है? और जो questions वो आपसे पूछ रहे थे, it was more about that I know everything. जब एक interviewer आपसे questions पूछ रहा होता है, if there is any confusion, you can ask the interviewer in a very polite manner that, I didn't understand your question. Can you repeat, or can you elaborate on what you're saying? There are ways of going about asking things. जरूरी नहीं है कि आपने पूरा interview A to Z English में ही लेना है, right? You can choose the mode of language जो आप comfortable हैं, लेकिन you always have to sound humble in an interview. Don't come across as someone who's overconfident and unable to back up their answers. There were a lot of answers which said KG, I know this and I know that, but uska koi concrete jawab nahi tha. Jaise aapne kaha efficient risk management. How do you efficiently manage risk? Would have been my next question. Okay, give me an example of how did you efficiently manage risk in your experience. Do not right away make statements जिनको आप बैकअप ना कर सकें या सपोर्ट ना कर सकें, ठीक है? And always search your organization. जब भी आप किसी इंटरव्यू में जाएं, हमेशा पढ़ के जाएं. Do not say to the interviewer कि आपके पास मेरा resume आप देख लें, or you have this information, look at it. It gives across a very negative impression, ठीक है? And to the interviewers, I would suggest कि Akbar, I think you asked very valid questions, and Maria, you also. लेकिन Maria, you sounded a bit agitated right away. शुरू में ही पता चल गया था that you were a bit off. सो आई वुड से कि ऐसा हो
जी
जाता है, ऐसे बिल्कुल ऐसे कई दफा इंटरव्यूज स्पेशली जब आप इन पर्सन नहीं ले रहे होते हैं एंड जब आप रिमोटली ले रहे होते हैं तो आपको नहीं कई दफा बॉडी लैंग्वेज की समझ आ रही होती या कई दफा बात की नहीं समझ आ रही होती. सो यू नो रिपीट योर क्वेश्चन, देयर इज नो हार्म, जस्ट से कि लेट मी रिपीट माय क्वेश्चन वंस अगेन. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा अपने इमोशंस को कंट्रोल में रखो. और जो आपने जैसे शुरू में कहा कि आपको यू वर एबल टू रीच एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, एक मोड आप क्लियर कर लो पहले ही कि इंटरव्यू आप उसको अप्रोच कैसे करोगे. व्हाट आर द क्वेश्चंस यू विल आस्क. जैसे आपने राइट अवे यू आस्क्ड कि यू नो आप सही पहुंच गए, आपको टी कॉफी चाहिए, गुड जेस्चर्स, but you can just leave it at are you comfortable this and that, that'll be sufficient, right? And when you asked him ke tell me a bit about yourself, Mohsin, you just gave her 2 words, I am this and I am this. This is not what she meant when she said tell me a bit about yourself. She meant you walk her through your resume. Who is Mohsin? Is Mohsin just an ACCA member, or is Mohsin more than an ACCA member? She was looking for more from you, and उसने repeat भी किया था कि is this everything or you would like to add more? You did not add more. So you know ये छोटी छोटी चीजें जो है ना इंटरव्यूज में they matter, क्योंकि कुछ चीजें जो हैं वो आपके इंटरव्यूज की डायरेक्शन बिल्कुल बदल देती हैं. They can be a very cordial interview or it can really end up in a disaster. And unknowingly ये चीजें हो जाती हैं. So this is what I would say to you guys कि being an interviewer, you have to be very patient with the candidates, and being a candidate, you have to be open. Do not come across as someone who is I know everything. ठीक है, जैसे उन्होंने आपसे अकबर ने आपसे पूछा कंप्लायंस के मैटर के ऊपर, यू सेड कि मुझे भी हायरार्की नहीं पता. ही इज evaluating you, it's a situation he's asking you. It doesn't matter आप हायरार्की में किस एंड पर हैं, आप टॉप पर हैं, आप बॉटम में, आप मिडिल में, it's irrespective. It's a situation for you. So you know you have to understand कि अगला आपसे क्या पूछ रहा है. नहीं समझ आ रही, ask again. There is no harm in saying कि can you repeat your question or can you elaborate what are you asking for. There is no harm in asking the questions right away. लेकिन be very careful of what words you're using. आपकी tone कैसी है, आपके expressions कैसे हैं, आप क्या, keep a check of yourself. ठीक है जी अरसलान.
जी, थैंक यू सना. सबसे पहले मोहसिन, मैं ये बताता चलूं कि मुझे एक्सपेक्टेशंस बहुत ज़्यादा थी आपसे, क्योंकि किल जितना आपने ग्रुप में कहा हुआ था और मैं आपसे बहुत अच्छा इंटरव्यू एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा था. बट आज जो इंटरव्यू हुआ, ऑब्वियसली कल काशिफ का इंटरव्यू वाज वेरी गुड. लास्ट 2 वीक से जो हम एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं सीवी राइटिंग के ऊपर, इंटरव्यू स्किल्स के ऊपर, किस क्वेश्चन का क्या आंसर देना है, हमने यहाँ तक डिस्कस किया. लेकिन आज आपके इंटरव्यू में वो उसकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन 0% थी. सीवी राइटिंग में मे बी लाइक यू हैव रीड, आपने रीराइट किया उसको. आपका इंट्रोडक्शन जो था, मुझे जो आपका इंटरव्यू लगा है वो इंटरव्यू कम था और एमसीक्यूज आंसर्स होते हैं ना वो. यस जी, कम्युनिकेशन, स्टेक होल्डर मैनेजमेंट जी, ओवरथिंक, आपके फेलियर क्या है, ओवरथिंकिंग. मतलब लाइक इट इज जस्ट लाइक जी आपने यहाँ पे एमसीक्यूज पे टिक कर रहे हैं, आंसर दे रहे हैं कि इसका ये आंसर है. हमने इतना डिस्कस किया था. आपका इंट्रोडक्शन शायद मारिया ने 4 दफा लिया, ठीक है, जबकि ये इंट्रोडक्शन जो है, कंप्लीट इंट्रोडक्शन आपको 30 सेकंड्स में देना चाहिए, इन अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल मैनर, इन अ वेरी प्रोफेशनल मैनर. आपने जनाब उस इंट्रोडक्शन को 4 दफा का, और इसमें आपने 1 दफा का, क्योंकि आपने मुझसे प्रिसाइज पूछा. आप इंटरव्यूअर को क्रॉस क्वेश्चन नहीं कर सकते, और करने का भी कोई तरीका होता है. बट यहाँ मुझे आज ऐसे लग रहा था जैसे लाइक शायद आप स्क्रीन पे हैं, तो शायद आप, आई डोंट नो व्हाट हैपेंड विद यू, बट ऐसा इंट्रोडक्शन वाज वेरी ब्राइट. आपको अपना प्रॉपर इंट्रोडक्शन देना चाहिए था. जी मेरा ये नाम है, आई हैव 10 years ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, आई हैव वर्क विद दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, और मेरे अंदर ये टॉप 10 स्किल्स हैं, या मेरे अंदर ये स्किल्स हैं. दैट्स इट. मतलब 30 सेकंड्स के अंदर यू कैन कंक्लूड योरसेल्फ. नंबर सेकंड, आपसे स्ट्रेंथ्स पूछी गई, आपने कहा कम्युनिकेशन मैनेजमेंट, स्टेक होल्डर मैनेजमेंट. कम ऑन, आप उस इंटरव्यूअर को क्या मतलब इंटरव्यूअर आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, आपको मतलब आप उसे बताएं जी मेरी ये स्ट्रेंथ है जिसकी वजह से ये वैल्यू ऐड हो सकती है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर। इट्स अ कंप्लीट सेंटेंस। अब आप कुछ ज्यादा स्टिक हो गए, उन्होंने आपसे स्ट्रेंथ पूछी तो आपने कहा कम्युनिकेशन मैनेजमेंट, तो डू यू एक्सपेक्ट कि नेक्स्ट इंटरव्यूअर आपसे फिर ये पूछेगा कि इसका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर क्या वैल्यू होगी? फिर आप वो बताएंगे। आपसे अगर कम्युनिकेशन पूछी, आपसे अगर स्ट्रेंथ पूछी है, तो स्ट्रेंथ बताने के साथ साथ आप उसको बताएं कि स्ट्रेंथ क्यों है। उनसे सिर्फ ये भी बताएं ना। फेलियर बताया आपने, ओवर थिंकिंग, फिर खामोशी। अब आपसे फिर जो है इंटरव्यू पूछे जी ये फेलियर क्यों है, आप बताएं जी फिर हमने ये डिस्कस किया था स्पेसिफिकली क्वेश्चन कि अगर आप फेलियर बता रहे हैं तो उसको साथ साथ आप बता दें कि नाउ आई हैव कन्वर्टेड इनटू स्ट्रेंथ व्हिच इज अल्टीमेटली द एडवांटेज फॉर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। ऐसे ही है, आपने ओवर थिंकिंग कह के बात खत्म कर दी। चल थर्ड क्वेश्चन आपसे फिर मजीद पूछा गया, आप क्या करते हैं फ्री टाइम में या आपकी शौक है? कैटल फार्मिंग, फिर खामोशी। फिर और भी आपने कोई एक दो फायदे बताए। मतलब आप इंटरव्यूअर को जब तक आप अट्रैक्टिव या आप उसको एंगेज नहीं करेंगे, आप एक्सेप्ट नहीं होंगे। मैं अपनी बात करूं, मैंने अपनी लाइफ में 4 से 5 इंटरव्यूज दिए हैं जहां जहां भी गए। मेरा जो इंटरव्यू जहां जहां मेरी जॉब हुई, मेरा लास्ट इंटरव्यू 70 मिनट्स 80 मिनट्स तक भी गया। इसका क्या मतलब है कि आप इंटरव्यूअर को एंगेज रखते हैं, जिसको ये एंगेज करना आता है। मैं तो यहीं पे कह रहा था, मतलब ऑब्वियसली आज हम सीखने के लिए आई, मैं तो ये कह रहा था अरे मोहसिन का इंटरव्यू खत्म हो जाए किसी तरीके से, मैं तो ये कह रहा था। ठीक है, तो वी आर ओपन टू गिवन द फीडबैक। मतलब इसलिए हम सिर्फ ये कह रहे हैं कि बी इंटरव्यूअर को हमने पॉजिटिव लेना है। इंटरव्यूअर को हमने, अच्छा दूसरा, आप इंटरव्यूअर की बात ही नहीं सुनते, क्वेश्चन उसका आधा होता है और आप बोलना शुरू हो जाते हैं। आपके पास लिसनिंग पावर होनी चाहिए कि आप उसकी बात सुने पूरा एंड तक। जब तक उसका सेंटेंस मुकम्मल नहीं हो जाता तब तक आपके चेहरे पे स्माइल, खामोशी, रिलैक्सेशन होनी चाहिए आपके चेहरे पे। आप जो हैं वो बीच में से कट ऑफ किए जा रहे हैं बार बार बात को। ठीक है, और पॉलिटिक्स का भी शायद इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, मतलब अगर मैं इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग शायद पॉलिटिक्स का भी जिक्र था। तो मतलब हमने कल भी कहा था कि हम इन चीजों को इंटरव्यू में ना लेके आए। आपने पहला क्वेश्चन ही यही दिया है कि जी मैं पॉलिटिक्स, मतलब इफ मुझे जहां तक मैंने सीखा। दूसरा आपसे पूछा जी अगले 5 सालों में आप अपने आप को कहाँ देखते हैं? जी स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटेंट। क्या व्हाट इज स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट अकाउंटेंट? ये हमने ये पिछले 2 हफ्तों में एक्सरसाइज की थी? नहीं, हमने बिल्कुल ऐसी एक्सरसाइज नहीं की थी। कल काशिफ इजाज के इंटरव्यू, उसने वो सारी चीजों को अपनाया था। वो बेंचमार्क था क्योंकि इट वाज द बेस्ट इंटरव्यू टिल येट। ठीक है, तो हम उसने वो सारी चीजों को यूज किया था जो हमने गाइड किया था। ठीक है, फिर आपसे पूछा गया जी एथिकल डायलेमा, डायलेमा जी नो एथिकल डायलेमा, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट। अच्छा इंटरव्यूअर का सवाल को समझें। उसने पूछा आपने कभी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट को फेस किया है? आप यानी कि क्या उस आप कह रहे हैं जी ये तो हमारी रोज की बात है, हम तो रोज करते हैं, डेली प्रैक्टिस है। वो आपसे ये नहीं पूछ रहा, वो आपसे पूछ रहा है जो फेस किया है मुझे उसके बारे में बताएं। आप कह रहे हैं जी ये तो मेरे बस ऐसे ही है कि मैं तो रोज रोज मैं सुबह जाता हूं तो मेरा काम ही यही है। टोटली नेगेटिव फीडबैक। ठीक हो गया। नेक्स्ट है जी लिसनिंग पावर में। आपसे अब टेक्निकल की तरफ आ जाएं। HR इसके बारे में पूछा अकबर ने, बड़ा अच्छा क्वेश्चन था। बीइंग अ ऑडिट मैनेजर, आप जो है या आप या रिस्क के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं, आप कहते हैं जी आई हैवंट वर्कड, ओके, अगर आपको नहीं पता। लेकिन जो आपने आंसर दिया वो भी गलत था कि जी उनका अब आपने उसमें रिस्क के तौर पे देखें, आप इतना ऑडिट करते हैं तो किसी चीज में कोई से भी रिस्क आप निकाल सकते हैं। हायरिंग का बताया, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन रिस्क हो सकता है, कॉस्ट एम्प्लॉइज का रिस्क हो सकता है, देयर मेनी मेनी अदर रिस्क जो आप मौके के ऊपर। फिर आपसे हायरार्की का पूछा गया, तो देखें आपने कहा जी मुझे पहले आप ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम बताएं, उसकी इंडस्ट्री बताएं, तो आपको बताया था। अच्छा फिर आपने कहा जी मॉक इंटरव्यू है ये, तो ठीक है, आप कोई सा भी यार आप बता दें हायरार्की, आप किसी इंडस्ट्री का, यू जस्ट नीड टू गिव एन आंसर। ठीक है ना, आपने एक प्रॉपर आंसर देना है। अब इंटरव्यूअर आपको ये बताए आप जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जा रहे हैं, आपको आपको खुद पता होना चाहिए कि वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इंडस्ट्री या उसकी हिरारकी, आपसे हिरारकी नहीं भी पता आपको, आपको एक एक जेनेरिक आंसर देना है, एक आपको आंसर को प्रॉपरली देना है कि जी मतलब मैं इसमें ये इस तरह से डील करूंगा। जी हाँ, फ्रॉड के बारे में पूछा, जी मुझे हायरार्की का पता होना चाहिए, जी मुझे रोल का पता होना चाहिए, इसमें हमने बेस्ट आंसर दिया था। फिर हम कहते हैं कि हमारा इंटरव्यू ठीक नहीं हुआ, हमने इस पे स्टैंडर्ड आंसर दिया था कि जी इसमें हम अपने जो है अपने इमीडिएट सुपरवाइजर को बता देंगे, इमीडिएट लाइन मैनेजर को बता देंगे, और उसके बाद हम देखेंगे कंपनी की पॉलिसीज क्या कहती हैं, इस केस को कैसे टैकल करना है। तो हम उस कंपनी की पॉलिसीज की कंप्लायंस करके उस सिचुएशन को हैंडल कर लेंगे। दैट्स अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल आंसर ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन। बट आपका शायद आंसर कुछ और ही था। ये सारे क्वेश्चंस जितने आपसे पूछे गए, इनके बहुत सारे आंसर बिल्कुल उसी तरीके से दिए जा सकते थे जैसे हमने लास्टली देखा। बट आई डोंट नो, मतलब जिस तरह कल आपने कहा था, बट इट्स अ टाइम फॉर यू अगेन टू इसको दोबारा से पढ़ें, इसको दोबारा से समझें, और जो आपका 3 से 4 दिन बाद वाला इंटरव्यू है, इसको आपने 360 डिग्री पे चेंज करना है। ठीक है, जो आपने अभी किया है, यू आर टोटली रिजेक्टेड अगर मैं वहां पे हूँ। ठीक है, यू आर टोटली रिजेक्टेड। शायद मैं आपका इंटरव्यू भी पूरा ना लूं, बस पॉजिटिवली कंक्लूड करके जैसे मैं कह रहा था, मैं कहता जी प्लीज जाए। ठीक है, तो हमेशा जो है रियलिटी को एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए, और उसके बाद इस इंटरव्यू आप इसको सीखें और जाके पॉजिटिवली इंटरव्यू को दें। ठीक है जी। जी हारून, आर यू देयर? चलें जी, नेक्स्ट इंटरव्यूअर है जी, नेक्स्ट इंटरव्यू हमारे पास है जी वर्दा। ठीक है मोहसिन, आप ठीक है अब जी, मुताहिद वर्दा को लेके आए जी। जी वर्दा, अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ एंड
Please go on, Varda. You are unmuted.
Hello.
वर्दा जी।
Arsalan, actually, I prepared to be an interviewer because I don't have a updated CV. So I was thinking to be an interviewer.
Okay, interviewer. Okay, Varda, how much you have the experience right now? Working
Of
experience?
about a year and a half.
Year and half. ओके, हम इसमें ये करते हैं कि हम तीनों इंटरव्यू, हम इस टाइम 3 का पैनलिस्ट बना लेते हैं। सना, इज इट ओके अगर हम 3 का ये बना लें, बोर्ड बना लें, इंटरव्यूअर बोर्ड?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
ठीक है। इसमें ये है कि इसमें जी इंटरव्यू ही कौन होगा हमारे पास? मुतहिद, इंटरव्यू में कौन है लिस्ट में?
अवैस बेग है हमारे पास, इनको मैंने पैनलिस्ट बना दिए।
जी अनम्यूट करें इन्हें।
Assalamualaikum.
वालेकुम सलाम, क्या हाल है अवैस?
I'm good, alhamdulillah.
अवैस,
Do I
आपका
need to
कितना
open my video?
हाँ, yes, you can if it is possible for you right now. या फिर आप देखें। ठीक है, यस।
Yeah.
मिर्जा, आपका वर्किंग एक्सपीरियंस कितना है अभी?
More than 10 years, approximately
ओके
10.5 or 11 years.
ओके, हम इसको आपको फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर के लिए फिर हम इंटरव्यू कर लेते हैं। ठीक है जी।
Actually, I submitted my resume for a management consulting position. I did not know whether you people have already assigned some roles previously.
हाँ,
So
we have
I made my
already,
CV accordingly as management consultant. But
okay,
I
we
can
have,
give interview for financial controller if that suits you guys.
ठीक, we have already announced the positions, but it's okay, we can go for financial controller। और इसमें ये सीक्वेंस होगा, I would like मारिया अकबर, आप इस टाइम पे जो है इंटरव्यू को स्टार्ट करेंगे। अकबर, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही होगी। अकबर, आप इंटरव्यू को स्टार्ट करेंगे। और उसके बाद टेक्निकल नॉलेज का टेस्ट लेते हुए फिर आप मारिया, आप इसमें पर्सनालिटी रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस करेंगी, एंड देन आफ्टरवर्ड्स वर्दा, आपने सैलरी एक्सपेक्टेशंस और एक दो क्वेश्चंस और पूछ लेने हैं जो आपको मतलब समझ आ जाएगी। जब पूरा इंटरव्यू देखेंगे तो एक दो क्वेश्चंस जो नहीं पूछे गए होंगे वो आपने कर लेना है। सो अकबर, इज इट ओके?
Yeah, it is okay. But
चलें
is
जी।
Mirza giving an interview for the financial controller? So if he's
यस
comfortable
यस।
with internal audit, so we can obviously consider him as
जी
an internal audit, whichever he
जी
suits, he's comfortable for.
जी, अवैस, इट्स अप टू यू। मतलब आर यू रेडी फॉर फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर और अ मैनेजर इंटरनल ऑडिट पोजीशन?
Because if you see
अवैस,
through CV, it's also for the
Yeah,
management
I
consultant as
am
well.
available for any position. Yeah,
चलें
you
जी।
can interview me for financial controller as well, and my CV at the moment
ओके ओके अकबर, फिर आप
for
इसको
the
फिर
role
आप
of management consultant. I have prepared my CV accordingly because I have approximately 10 years of consulting experience.
जी अकबर, मेरा ख्याल है फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर के लिए ले लेते हैं। इसमें आपको मतलब यू हैव टू आस्क अबाउट हाउ टू, मतलब आप फाइनेंस से रिलेटेड कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछ सकते हैं इसमें। या इट्स अप टू यू, जो आपको इजी लगता है, जो आपको मतलब
Perfect.
कन्वीनियंट लगे, मुझे बता दीजिएगा पहले।
So let's go ahead with financial controller position. I don't have any
ओके जी।
issues.
I've mentioned my
ओके
summary at the top of my resume. I've mentioned CV at the top of my resume.
Okay, perfect,
That summary.
perfect. So Wes, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
So did you find any difficulty in reaching here, or was it comfortable? Because we have
Hello,
a
am I audible?
yeah, you are. Can you hear us, Wes?
Yeah, but with a lot of distortion and voice is also
आप
breaking in between.
आप अपनी वीडियो ऑफ कर लें अवैस, आप अपनी वीडियो ऑफ कर लें,
Oh,
वेबकैम ऑफ कर लें। जी जी अकबर, अब आप शुरू करेंगे, अपनी प्रॉब्लम आएगी।
Okay. So Wes, can you listen us?
yeah, sure. Loud and clear.
Okay. Perfect. So I was asking, so you were comfortable coming in here because we are situated in a very distant location. We are very far away from the central city. So was it comfortable reaching here?
Yeah, it was fine throughout the journey, and I did not face any problem reaching at your place.
Perfect.
Everything was perfect.
Perfect. So just as a starting note, just tell us something about yourself, particularly which is not reflected in your CV or in your resume.
Starting from the beginning, I did my matriculation from one of the top schools of Karachi, VVS Parsi High School, which is not mentioned in the resume, and in with science subjects. And again, my intermediate from again one of the top-notch colleges of Karachi, from where even our nuclear scientist, which is also the alma mater of our nuclear scientist, DJSN Government Science College, and I've done my master's in economics from University of Karachi, and I'm also a ACCA member. Besides that, I have approximately more than 10 years of rich and diversified working experience. So there is a lot of background noise.
अवे बिल्कुल अवैस, यू कैन वेट फॉर अ मिनट, क्योंकि अजान हो रही है, तो यू डोंट वरी, आप एक मिनट के लिए होल्ड कर सकते हैं।
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
G. Awais.
Yeah, I'm back. So I was saying, again, I could hear a lot of noise.
Why? Is there any something back at your side?
No, my side is clear and it's quite silent. I'm sitting in closed room, but I don't know. Probably someone else in the panelist who is unmuted and there's background noise.
G.
Let me
Wait a
mute
second.
myself.
मारिया आपकी साइड से है
Yeah,
yes? हाँ
now I
चलें
can
जी
hear.
जी
Yes. So I was briefing about myself. Yes, I have done my intermediate from again one of the top-notch colleges of Karachi, DJs in Government Science College with science subjects, and I am ACCA member and master's degree holder in economics from University of Karachi. And as far as my professional experience is concerned, I have worked in two of the global big four firms like PwC Pakistan Karachi office, and currently working in Deloitte in their advisory and consulting practice as assistant manager. I have rich and diversified working experience, not just financial advisory, but risk advisory, consulting, business advisory, assurance services, which has certainly groomed me into a thorough management consulting professional. Besides that, I wanted to gain commercial understanding of business. In 2014, I resigned PwC and joined a small marketing agency. Though the company was small, but fortunately, I had the opportunity of working for PNG Pakistan for their global brands, which they have in Pakistan. And along with my team, I managed their BTL operations for their billion-euro brands. Um, uh, and not just manage their BTL operations, but in fact, their complete account management, which included hiring sales teams, their training, development of sales pitch, calculation of cost per drop, project costings, etc., etc. Uh, but since I wanted to move towards the brand side and it wasn't possible to move towards the brand side from agency end, so I came across an opportunity in Deloitte. I resigned Helium and then joined Deloitte Pakistan in 2016, August 2016, yes. And since then, working here. Here, I got the opportunity of working directly with the leadership in some strategic matters, and the deliverables of which were submitted to Deloitte Global and received a lot of praise and appreciation from the local leadership for scenario planning and in some strategic matters. So that's brief profile.
Excellent, excellent, Uwe. So you have a very rich experience in management consultancy and risk advisory. So will you just be able to elaborate that how this experience can complement or support you in the role you have applied for, that is financial controller? So will it be a struggle for you, or it will be just a breathing period and you'll come up to the pace and speed?
I think being in a management consulting role for the major part of my career, um, moving into the shoes of a financial controller won't be that difficult, because a management consultant delves into everything of the client, and they understand the client pain points and try to resolve those pain points through his experience and through understanding management's requirements. So moving towards this role for that is the financial controller, I don't think so that would be a problem, considering my experience and the clients which I've worked with, including the financial institutions. I don't think so that would be a challenge, but yes, it will take time, probably a couple of months in the beginning, to which would help me in understanding the organizational culture, the requirements of the role, because a financial controller is mostly involved in sometimes mostly involved in managing the budgets and the control, mostly the control side of the business, the budget, the control environment, assisting the CFO in the organizational strategic matters, and sometimes playing role of business partner. So this all I think I can easily manage with the support of my team.
Perfect, very good. So hello.
जी
Hello.
अकबर आपकी आवाज जी
Yeah.
अकबर
Okay.
अब बोलिएगा
Yes, sorry for that interruption. So, Oais, we are actually planning to implement IFRS 15 and IFRS 17 into our organization, and we want that the person who comes in can steer the team or can lead the team into the implementation phase. So, do you have any experience in leading big teams for complicated projects and for such technically driven projects?
Yes, Alhamdulillah, I have experience of leading teams, and currently I'm leading approximately 8 to 10 people for different types of engagements. And as far as IFRSs are concerned, I personally worked on an engagement where I worked directly with a director in accounting treatment advisory for a pharmaceutical company, which involved IFRS 3 and business combination. So I think that won't be a problem. And whenever we'll find any problem, we'll resort to the IFRS's literature to understand, and we could do the research if required, if need be. So yes, I can manage, and I am currently managing teams for different engagement, even for complex assignments. Like we did a due diligence engagement for our client was a state bank, and approximately 10 to 15 banks which manage the credit guarantee, which worked under the credit guarantee scheme of State Bank, which was a big engagement for which continued for approximately more than a year. So, and I was a core team member directly reporting to director. And with this experience, I don't think that would be a challenging task to manage teams in for implementation of IFRSs.
Perfect, perfect. So just one last question, Uwais, from my side. So we are a very fast growing firm, and you'll see transformation and change every other day. So people often finds it difficult to adapt to this rapid change. So will you be comfortable with that, or you feel that you would find it difficult to adapt to change and change at such a rapid pace?
Mm, Being in consulting role, we offer very different types of advisory services to a large spectrum of clients. So I think change would not bother me that much, because every engagement is a very different engagement with very different set of requirements involving very different nitty-gritties the engagement have. So yes, that would be a challenge. I'm not saying that would be easy. That would be a challenge, but that I think that would be manageable as well. So because 10 years with different clients with their different requirements, sometimes client with stringent deadlines. So with all these experience in my arsenal, I think I can deliver on the job requirements.
Okay, so the purpose of asking this question was that you have a rich experience in management consultancy and risk, and you are again getting a change in your role, and you'll be joining in as financial controller. So that would be the biggest change. And besides that, you'll get to face some changes and transformations within the processes and within the different streams of the organization. So that was the overall purpose of the question. And I am able to cope up with the pace.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting you. As an example, I could just quote that one of the significant change in my careers is I resigned PwC, a big company, a big brand, and joined a small marketing agency and did marketing work. So that is the major change which could have put a dent on my career, but Alhamdulillah, I very efficiently managed it. And again, joined agents firm, and managed advisory function again. So I think this is a small example of the significant change.
Don't you think that the change doesn't suit you, and that's why you again shifted towards the firm environment? It's a very short
Um,
period of that you left firm, you joined the agency, you left the agency, you joined the firm again.
Yeah, that's a bit tricky question, but the answer is quite simple. Reason being, I joined agency because I wanted to move towards MNC side, and the client during my interview they told me clearly that I will be directly working for their PNG brand. So that was clear, and in my mind, I had plans that from agency I would move towards the brand side, which is again MNC. So that won't work because that did not work for me because they were solely looking for MBAs in marketing. So meanwhile, I got opportunity in Deloitte, so I moved back. I did not want to stay there for longer term. I just wanted to gain commercial understanding and move towards the brand side. That was the sole objective.
Perfect, perfect. So it's up. So Maria, if you could just ask some questions.
Yes, before I'm handing over to Maria, I have a question. Uh, as you are applying for the financial controller position, uh, our company is already in a very in a short of cash flow. We are suffering from the cash flow problems due to COVID-19. As you know, their impact is very significant on the organization's sales. So our sales has not been increased from the last 6 to 8 months, but our expenses has been increasing day by day, and there are no other options we have to increase our sales or increase our cash flows. So what you can do for us if we are suffering from the cash flows, how you can surplus the cash, or is there any other options available so that our organization can be survive in other next 6 months?
uh, at the very outset, I would need to see what are the core functions of the organization and what are the functions which could be made redundant or which could be merged with other functions and to bring in cost efficiencies. So the management of the company and the staff could focus on the core activities of the business rather than wasting precious resources on irrelevant or not just irrelevant, but not non-core activities of the business. Because considering the cash and liquidity crunch, it's not wise to spend resources on those areas of the business which are not core to the operations of the company. So, very at the very outset, I'll just obviously with the support of my team, with in discussion of the top management, we'll identify those areas and we'll also look for the areas which could be merged with those areas, or which could where we could bring in cost efficiencies through either automation or through either conversion of cost centers into, I must say, the profitable centers. And that would certainly require a complete and thorough as is understanding of the business. Without understanding the core business in detail, I think it's premature to comment on this. But yes, a complete and thorough as is understanding with support from management would be the foremost point, I think, the first exercise before we could further delve into this.
Okay, okay, Avais, over to Maria.
Assalamu alaikum, Awais.
Walaikum salam.
Ji, Awais, I would like to know that how have you coped with disagreements amongst your other fellows, with you can say other executives, as this position is of financial controller and you'll be leading the finance function. So there would be times that you would be having disagreement, taking on some projects or on your ideas. How would you be dealing with that?
I had a disagreement, but that was a professional one because I was on leaves, and when I came back, there was an engagement which was running, and I was just made part of that engagement in between. So at the very outset, I wasn't pretty much aligned with the working methodology of the team. Um, so I did not directly approach the seniors or directly the director who was leading the team. But from the junior engagement team member, I asked him what you guys are actually doing to execute this task, because the engagement was is confidential, although it has completed, but I cannot name it, and cannot further delve into the nitty-gritties or the details of the engagement. But yes, I asked him how the team or how you exactly doing this task. So he told me that I've researched on the rules available on the website. I cannot name those rules, and we have gone through the prudential regulations of the State Bank, and we have just made ourselves clear what regulations are applicable to this type of segment, and we are executing the task of XYZ task. So I was literally taken aback by the way they were executing the task. So I asked him, didn't you make the checklist of the requirements what individual team members is going to do, because the team was quite big and the scope was quite wide. So he said no. So I asked him how you are going to retain these how you are going to memorize all these requirements while or how you are going to ensure completeness with the requirements of the engagement. So he said that it will depend on my memory, and I can just memorize it and I can do it. So I was shocked by his comment. So I asked him, why didn't you make the checklist for the requirement? He said it wasn't asked from us to make this checklist. So I advised him initially, you just make the checklist and I'll get it approved from the director and we'll implement it in the engagement. Although he was junior, but he had some sort of ego problem. He did not make that checklist. So I directly approached my director, and I asked him to. I briefed him in detail that this is what the team is currently doing, which I think is against the requirements of the business, and we should do it like this, and we should make this checklist and XYZ containing XYZ requirements. And we have an external expert on that team as well. So initially, my director was also a bit reluctant on this. So he did not clearly give his approval to apply that thing on the engagement. But he said, okay, we'll see it. Because it was those were the initial days of the engagement, and we had a lot of time to change our working methodology. So probably at that time he did not take it seriously. So then when the subject matter expert entered in the game, I briefed him that currently the team is doing this, and I have suggested them this approach. So he completely endorsed me, and he asked me to make that checklist, and he directly talked to the partner, and the partner said, okay, that would be fine if you just circulate the meeting invite. So then director also became a bit anxious, and he also endorsed me, and we had a meeting on that. I trained the team on that checklist and the requirements of the business, and we executed the task based on that checklist. So this is one of the instances that was professional disagreement with some of the team members, but finally was implemented and the engagement is concluded, and we even received our fee.
All right. Well, as you
Very
told
difficult
us
to
that
conclude.
surely. So, Wes, as you told us that you have been leading teams and you came across a situation where people were having egos, and obviously there are different kinds of nature when you leading team. And about our company, we have around 12 people, or I would say 12 to 15 people in our finance department. And if you'll be selected, you'll be leading those people, and they have different natures. They are working quite long and associated with our organization since long. So what leadership style would you prefer? being a financial controller, being needing all of them?
It's a tricky question, but I think it depends on the situation. Sometimes you have to be aggressive, and sometimes you have to be diplomatic. When the requirements or when the situation which demands you to be aggressive, then obviously I will be aggressive because the objective is to meet the objectives of the business, obviously. And when there is time and there are resources and there is opportunity where I could play diplomatically, then I would certainly go for diplomacy. But to be honest, it depends on the situation. And I think the more you go up in the organizational hierarchy, your technical knowledge becomes secondary and your people management skills becomes primary. And that is the area I think I possess strong skills and is my strong area. And because keen observation and long-term strategic planning are my strong suits, so I could understand where the person is coming from and I could manage it efficiently. But yes, if that other person is willing to learn and willing to let go his ego, but if he is bent upon but he is bent upon continuing his stance or he is maintaining his the status quo, then obviously we need to. There is a carrot and stick approach. So sometimes you give them carrot and sometimes you have to take stick. It depends.
All right. And what if a person is like, as I told that some of our members are associated with us since long and they are of more age than you. They're a bit older than you. So obviously there also comes times the conflicts, the disagreements, not only amongst the team, but would you say that on the project you are performing, on the assignments you're leading. So if they all are not disagreeing, or the majority of them are not agreeing with you, would you be still aggressive? Would you be still taking on, and they have the ego issues, most of them? How would you be taking on that situation? And how would you describe yourself as a person at that moment?
Sorry, I forgot your name. Maria, I guess. Right? Maria, I think people are hungry for respect and love. And even in this situation, even if they are working for more than 20 years and they are way senior than me, I think one cup of tea and a samosa will work.
Okay.
That won't be a problem. People, to be honest, people are hungry for respect and people are hungry for love. If you give them respect, if you listen to them, they will certainly cooperate with you, although reluctantly initially, but going forward, they would support you. And I've experienced it. I think that won't be a problem. In a nutshell, people need respect. If you give them respect, you will receive respect. If you give them appreciation, they will turn back to you. They will support you. Even they will go out of their way to support you.
Okay. And what has been your biggest accomplishment?
I think, as I said, as I said, that samosa and tea will work. And I've experienced it in the past. It works. You take that team member out on for a small 10 rupee samosa and a cup of tea. He will just support you like a die-hard fan.
Oh. And my next question was, what has been your biggest accomplishment up till now? In your
biggest accomplishment? Yeah, biggest accomplishment, I think so far, although I haven't achieved it yet, something yet, but so far what I have achieved is directly working with the leadership and attending core committee, executive committee meeting with CEO and partners, with the business, where business secrets are being discussed, and it shows that the management trusts you, they see you, they are investing in your professional grooming. So I think it is one of my biggest achievement. But yes, a lot. I have to cover a lot of ground, and I am born for something big, inshallah. And as there is a couplet in Punjabi, Mali Dakam pani pama bhar bhar machka pave, malik dakam phalpul lana, lave ya na lave. So I'm trying my best to make a dent in the universe, and I don't know how much successful I will be. But yes, so far this is, I think, trust from the leadership, from the partners, is I think it's a silent recognition of my efforts, and they trust me. They are investing in my grooming. I think it's worth considering, and but it's worth discussing.
All right. Okay. As you know, the position is of executive. Are you still going on? Sorry if I've cut you.
नहीं Maria, I think now I think we should
अच्छा जी
move
जी
on
sir, no
to
problem.
we should
जी
move
जी,
on to
no
Vedha.
problem. जी sir, sure.
Actually, I am trying to conduct as much as interviews so that all listeners will get the maximum benefit. So
Sure, sir.
I am trying to conduct one more interview. That's why I'm asking Vedha now to conclude the interview in a positive manner. Vedha.
Okay, Wes, just one more question before I move to the final questions. You clearly have a very diversified portfolio and you have a good knowledge of the things that you've worked at. Tell me something that you think you're not good at. What are your weaknesses as a professional?
I am good in writing skills, yes, report writing, policy making, but I think I need some improvement in Excel side or number crunching, because all the time I read, mm, uh, I read everything, whatever comes to my way, be it a billboard, be it a magazine, and then I get little time to work on Excel. So I think I need to spend more time in developing this skill set.
So being a financial controller, you will have to work with a lot of numbers. If you think you're not good at number crunching, how is that going to, help with your position?
uh, I'm not saying I'm weak in number crunching, but yes, I am good in number crunching. I've worked with leadership and some code numbers as well. But in by this I mean that an Excel, you can say Excel savvy. Yes, I'm good in Excel, but sometimes you need some those extremely difficult logical functions built in with different scenarios and sensitivities. I think I need to develop that skill as well. But since I do not get time, I spend most of my time reading. I'm also currently reading a book by Qudratullah Shahab Nama. So I think I need to spare some time for that as well. But that's not a problem. I am doing Alhamdulillah work for the last 10 years. I'm not that weak in Excel. I am good in Excel, but I am talking about that advanced level where you need to build an extremely complex formulas and sensitivities.
All right. So what are your salary expectations for the company for this position?
Uh, Salary depends on what the complete package entails. I'm not just saying that I expected X number, but yes, what the complete package entails, what the benefit entails, what the perquisites attached with the position, that will certainly be one of these factors together will determine the complete salary I'm expecting. But yes, it will be in six figures, obviously, and in fact, in a higher side, because considering the organization, considering my experience, I need the market compatible salary commensurate with my experience, along with fringe benefits.
So
Let me
basically,
let me long story short, like a company is providing you the gratuity provident fund 33 leaves which are encashable, and provident fund is 8.33% of your gross salary, and company is providing you the medical insurance of yours and your family. So now what's your salary? What's your salary expectations?
Uh, Currently, I have a company maintained car as well. So that would be one of the factors in the salary. If your organization is not offering a car for this position, then obviously I will look for the monetary compensation for this. And PF, medical are the normal benefits which are given even a small organization. But considering the stature of your organization, I think some other benefits will also be considered before I could quote my final number. But yes, I'm open for negotiations. And to be honest, I have received a brand new company maintained car from my current employer.
ठीक. Okay. Anything else, Varda?
Just one more question. So basically, our company does not have Saturdays off, and we most of the time we have our finance department especially has to work long hours. We might even call you if you're out on a break or on the weekends for work. So how will you feel? Will you be comfortable to be that engaging in the work?
With this COVID and with these tech advancements, I think there is no work-life balance. In fact, work-life integration, as said by Sajid Saab. So it doesn't matter if you work on Saturdays, and we work on even on Sundays and even on Muharram holidays. So in firm, you are groomed in such a way that working on we are working longer hours or working on holidays becomes does not become any problem, and obviously is not a deciding factor in accepting the opportunity.
That's it from my side, Arsalan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Varda. Sana, obviously you are our subject matter expert, and you have the significant and huge knowledge in HR. I'm interested to give. मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप इसका जो है वो feedback firstly provide करें. Then उसके बाद में.
Thank you, everybody. I think it was a pretty long interview, a very intense and a pretty long, interesting interview. And I think it went very well. Obes, the way you answered questions, and I think your approach to a lot of questions was very positive, and it was very, you could relate it to your, day-to-day activities. There were relevant examples. एक चीज मैं सारे interviewers को कहूंगी, when you start an interview, you always introduce the panel. That whoever is there with you in the interview, you have to introduce them, because जब आप एक इंटरव्यू का पैटर्न सेट कर रहे होते हैं and there are multiple people involved, there are multiple panelists, you always introduce them कि जी XYZ is so and so person, मारिया क्या करती है, वर्दा क्या करती है, अकबर क्या करते हैं, अपना थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन देते हैं, and that's how you start the interview. So starting with, I think the question of tell me a bit about yourself was very well handled. एक चीज मैं कहूंगी जहाँ पे switch of the industry हो रहा था बीच में कि हम पहले आप एक firm में थे, then you went into an advertising agency, फिर आप brands की तरफ move करना चाह रहे थे. So Uwais, you should share why would you want to switch from being an accountant towards being a brand person, because कल को let's say आप दोबारा सोचते हो कि मैंने किसी FMCG में जाना है और मैंने brands में काम करना है, that could not only be for getting the commercial sense, because एक महीना 2 महीने या 3 महीने या even maybe साल भी काम करके कई दफा वो चीज नहीं मिलती है. So you have to be very clear when you have drastic switches in your CVs. You are justifying that maybe with your passion, maybe with you want to learn a new skill, or you wanted to venture into a different domain because maybe that's your passion. Maybe you've realized it that that's something you're good at. Creativity comes natural to you, so maybe that is something you want to explore further. उस तरह की चीजों को you can highlight. जब अरसलान ने बीच में एक question पूछा on cash management, I think generally जब cash management के ऊपर सवाल आता है तो सबसे पहले दिमाग में हर बंदे के यही जवाब आता है कि जी हम departments merge कर देंगे या हम resources को evaluate कर देंगे. There are so many things that you can say when you're answering this question, because हो सकता है उस company में already optimum resources हो. You can always touch upon other areas as well. So for example, आप अपनी financial costs कम कर सकते हैं, your interests, your markups, आप उन चीजों के ऊपर काम कर सकते हैं. It's a very good thing that you touched upon automation. You can further talk about your other wastages, जो आपकी organizational wastages होती हैं. If that concern is a manufacturing concern, maybe you can touch base upon जो आपकी प्लांट की साइड पे वेस्टेजेस हो सकते हैं, प्रोडक्शन वेस्टेजेस हो सकते हैं, ओवरहेड्स आपकी कॉस्ट्स हो सकते हैं. देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स दैट यू कैन टच अपॉन. So I would always say कि जब इस तरह का कोई question आए, you should have 2-3 things available that you can say rather than just saying focusing on कि लोग कम कर देंगे या लोग merge कर देंगे. So people understand that you have 2 or 3 solutions to a problem. ठीक है? फिर coming to the point पे जहाँ पे हमने disagreements की बात की, जहाँ पे मारिया ने disagreements के ऊपर question पूछा. I think a better way to ask this question would have been what challenges you have faced in the past. This question gives you an umbrella जिसके अंदर आप बहुत चीजें cover कर सकते हैं. Maybe वो आपको जब 2-3 और challenges बताएं तो मारिया you can have further leading questions from this question कि जी challenges क्या face किए. And guys, I believe कि इसके अंदर ना आपका answer बहुत लंबा हो गया था. I mean it was a very long story. It's good that you gave an example, but you could have simply stated that disagreements could be handled by communicating effectively, and then you can say I would like to share an example with you ताकि लोगों को पता भी चल जाए कि that is your forte and उसको आपने ऐसे handle किया by giving an example, right? Instead कि आपने पूरी story बताई, उस पूरी story में ये था कि आपने उससे क्या क्या पूछा, फिर आपने उसे मशवरा दिया, फिर आपने उसके अपने supervisor को वो मशवरा दिया, उन्होंने कहा जी ठीक है, फिर वो director ने endorse किया, and that is how it happened. But you could have simply stated, when you work as a team, you all have to collaborate. So when you're giving an interview, you pick up skills which you want to showcase. If you're a good team player, talk about those skills. If you're a good communicator, talk about those skills. If you're mentoring people, talk about those skills. So you can always answer these questions in such manner जो आपकी skills को भी highlight करते हैं. Then leadership का जो question था, I agree. I think you handled it very safely by saying rightly कि obviously it depends upon certain situations कि आप situation to situation leadership vary भी कर सकती है. But the question was actually a bit off कि for example हमारे इतने लोग हैं finance में, and to me it gave an impression कि भाई वो तो सारे ego वाले हैं. So that can put the interviewee a bit at the back seat as well कि oh, what am I getting myself into. So whenever you're talking about your people, you use the words which are not negative because you don't want to give a negative impression of your company. So you choose the words very wisely. That is why I said कि you can always say कि challenges क्या हैं. You can face certain challenges, or you'll have to deal with certain difficult situations. How would you handle those situations? Do not say that people in our department maybe बहुत बूढ़े हैं या आपकी एज से ज्यादा हैं या बहुत egoistical हैं. It gives a very different connotation of what you're saying. Then जो question हम हमेशा अक्सर पूछते हैं लोगों से about your weaknesses and about your strengths, I think it's always better to ask people what their developmental areas are. I think that's a more positive way of asking what are the things they would want to build on, which they certainly feel कि भाई अभी जैसे अवैस ने भी कहा कि I'm not bad at number crunching, but that is something I want to further improve, right? So you can always turn a different or a negative question into a positive one. And then on salary expectations, rightly so, I think you said कि package होगा तो पता चलेगा comparable, but nobody asked कि what he is drawing currently. So how do you know that if he is falling within your bracket or not? Maybe वो आपकी brackets already by रहे हैं. So nobody asked him कि जी आपका current salary package क्या, आपको current benefits क्या मिल रहे हैं. Maybe then you can ask कि अच्छा, are you okay on coming at lateral, or you're expecting a 10% or a 12% increase आपका year end, because होता क्या है जब आप interview कर रहे होते हैं तो आपको पता होता है कि आपने mid year में कर रहे हैं interview, आप towards the closer end of the year कर रहे हैं. अगर आप closer end of the year कर रहे होते हैं तो फिर आप salary expectations वाले questions को you can always link with the merit based increase जो उसको हो सकता है मिलने वाला हो. You can further probe and further ask questions. So when you ask an individual कि जी आप current कितना draw कर रहे हैं, so you get a fair idea कि अच्छा where this person will lie, कि कितना को कर लेगा. Ballpark figure भी you can talk about a ballpark figure. If you're at liberty, if you're as an organization, you're at liberty to share something, why not give a ballpark figure? Roughly itna hoga, you can gauge the idea. So that's something that you can do. And about weekends and working on off days and longer hours, Unfortunately, I do agree कि ये चीजें होती हैं, but you can just ask, if there seldom there are days jahan pe people have to sit people have to work longer hours. Are you comfortable? Are you open to this? So ask always open ended questions. Do not ask ke aap kar lenge ya nahi kar lenge, aap interested hain ya nahi interested hai. Give enough margin for someone else to say what they have to say, because obviously wo हाँ भी नहीं कह सकता, वो ना भी नहीं कह सकते. So you always have to analyze and evaluate कि एक बंदे की willingness कितनी है. So this would be my feedback. Ji Arsalan.
Thank you, Sana. Very important feedback that Sana was given. Now, अवैस, आपका इंट्रोडक्शन जो था वो बहुत लंबा था. एक्चुअली दो चीजें हैं, इसको आपने याद रखना. एक होता है स्टोरी टेलिंग और एक होता है क्वेश्चन का आंसर. एक्चुअली आपका कन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट का मैं आंसर, आपने जो आंसर दिया, जो जिसमें मैंने खुद उसमें इंटरप्शन की थी और कहा था कि वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू कंक्लूड, बेसिकली वो आप स्टोरी टेलिंग कर रहे थे, डायलॉग राइटिंग. मैंने उसने ये कहा, उसने ये कहा, मैंने उसको ये कहा और उसने मुझे ये कहा. ठीक है, वेरी ओपन फीडबैक ऑब्वियसली. तो इंट्रोडक्शन पे पहले आते हैं. इंट्रोडक्शन आपका बहुत लंबा था, जिसमें आपने अपना ये भी बताना चाहा कि आप मूव क्यों होना चाह रहे हैं. आपने अपनी अचीवमेंट्स भी बता दी और उसमें आपने रोल भी बता दिया, जबकि आपके इंटरव्यूअर ने आपसे क्या पूछा था कि आप अपने बारे में बताएं, विच वी हैव डिसाइडेड लाइक 30 to 40 सेकंड्स के अंदर आपका एक ब्यूटीफुल, एक प्रोफेशनल इंट्रोडक्शन हो जाना चाहिए, जिसमें आपका नाम भी आ सकता है, आपका टोटल एक्सपीरियंस आ सकता है कि मेरा इतना एक्सपीरियंस है, मैंने यहाँ यहाँ सिर्फ काम किया है, और उसके साथ जो आपके स्किल्स हैं. इसमें आपने अपनी अचीवमेंट्स का भी बताया जी, मुझे डेलॉइट से कोई अचीवमेंट मिली थी, आई फॉरगॉट इट. आपसे उन्होंने अभी ये नहीं पूछा कि आपकी क्या अचीवमेंट्स हैं, क्योंकि अगर वो आपसे दोबारा पूछ ले तो ऑब्वियसली रेपिटेटिव हो जाएगा. अभी सिर्फ आपने एक प्रोफेशनल सा एक अपना 30 to 40 सेकंड्स का एक ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन देना था, लेकिन आपने अपना इंट्रोडक्शन जो है वो काफी एक्सटेंड किया था, जिसकी जरूरत नहीं थी. आप में जो एक मेन प्रॉब्लम है और जो एक मेन एरिया इंप्रूवमेंट का है, एंड द सेम एरिया विच नीड्स टू बी इम्प्रूव बाय मारिया, कि आपसे बात कंक्लूड नहीं होती है, कंक्लूड नहीं करते आप. जैसे मारिया है, क्वेश्चन करती हैं तो वो जब तक नेक्स्ट इंटरव्यू बोल नहीं पा रहा होता, वो क्वेश्चन को एक्सटेंड किए जाती है, एक्सटेंड किए जाती है. ठीक है, आपको इतनी क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए, इतनी आपकी प्रिपरेशन होनी चाहिए कि आपने जो बोलना है वो आपको पता हो मैंने क्या बोलना है. ठीक है, कुछ क्वेश्चंस जो हैं बेसिकली आपके पैटर्न हैं, जैसे कि अब इंट्रोडक्शन की तो हमने बात कर ली. अब आता है कन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट के ऊपर. मुझसे ये सवाल किया जाता है, अब मुझसे आप किसी भी जगह पे ये सवाल खड़ा होकर देख ले, मैंने 1 2 3 केसेस मैंने जो हैं उनको ऐसे, मतलब मैं ओपन बात करूं तो मुझे पता है कि उन वो जो 3 केसेस मैंने किए हैं, अगर मुझसे कहीं पे ये सवाल होगा तो मैंने उसको कितना ब्यूटीफुल इंटरप्रेट करना है. ठीक है, अब आप 3 क्वेश्चंस को आप उसको लिख लें, याद कर लें. मैं ये कह देता हूँ, फिर अगर आपसे ऑन द स्पॉट नहीं होता तो आप उसको याद कर लें. इसको एक और हम कहते हैं समुंदर को कूजे में बंद करना. अब ये कन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट का अगर मेरे से सवाल होता तो मैं उस पर हमेशा ये पुट अप करता हूँ जी, मेरा बिल्कुल कन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट हुआ था, इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ जॉब, हो जाता है, आपका अपने बॉस के साथ हो जाता है. तो उसमें मैं इस सिनेरियो में ऐसे करता हूँ कि ऑब्वियसली जिस पॉइंट के ऊपर कन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट होता है, मैं उसके आफ्टरवर्ड्स मैं उस पर फर्दर काम करता हूँ, फर्दर नॉलेज गेन करता हूँ. नॉलेज गेन करने के बाद वर्किंग करता हूँ और उसके फ्यूचर प्रॉज एंड कॉन्स लिखता हूँ, और मैं फिर जाके व्हेन माय बॉस विल बी फ्री मैं उनसे डिस्कस करता हूँ. ओके सर, अगर हम इसको ऐसे करेंगे आपके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से तो ये प्रॉन्स हैं, ये कॉन्स हैं, और अगर हम मैं अपने पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से करते हैं, अगर हम मेरी बात देखी जाए तो उसके ये प्रॉस एंड कॉन्स हैं. तो आपको यही इंटरव्यू में पुट अप करना है, और एट द टाइम आपने ये कहना है किसी जो मैनेजर हैं उनको उनको वो बात अच्छी लगी, तो हम एक ऐसे विन विन सिचुएशन में आ गए जहां पे हमने एक ऐसा सोल्यूशन निकाला है जहां पे वो भी 1 पेज पे थे और मैं भी 1 पेज पे था. तो बट आपका जो सवाल का आंसर था, इट्स गोज ऑन, चली जा रहा है, चली जा रहा है. आप खुद देखें, एम्पैथिक जो आपका कॉन्सेप्ट है, एम्पैथी होना, कि आप अपने आप को उस जगह पे रखें और सोचें कि एक बंदा आपको लॉन्ग स्टोरी सुनाई जा रहा है, तो आपको आहिस्ता आहिस्ता आपका इंटरेस्ट लूज होना शुरू हो जाएगा. तो आपका आंसर शुड बी इन अ मिडिल साइज, मिडिल रीजनेबल होना चाहिए, जिसमें उसमें इंटरेस्ट, उसमें जिस तरह सना ने कहा, उसमें आपने स्टोरी टेलिंग नहीं करनी, उसमें आपने इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड्स को यूज करना है, की वर्ड्स को यूज करना है. जैसे कि मैं इसकी एग्जांपल दे देता हूँ, अवैस की मुझे एक बात अच्छी लगी जिसमें उसने कहा कि इस पोस्ट के ऊपर पीपल मैनेजमेंट प्राइमरी हो जाती है और वर्क मैनेजमेंट सेकेंडरी हो जाता है। तो ये बात अच्छी थी, एक अट्रैक्टिव बात थी। तो अब आपने इस बात को आप समझ लें कि आपका आंसर आप लिख लें। मैं खुद से अपनी बात करूं, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मैं आज तक जिस इंटरव्यू में गया हूं, मैं आज तक कभी रिजेक्ट नहीं हुआ। ये बात कोई वैसे बताने वाली नहीं है। जब भी मैं जो भी क्वेश्चंस के आंसर मैं फर्स्ट स्टेज के ऊपर से हमेशा लिख के जाता हूँ कि मैंने उधर क्या बोलना है, ठीक है। और उधर जाके मतलब आप जब एक दफा कर लेते हैं, आपके खुद माइंड में क्लैरिटी आ जाती है। नेक्स्ट पे आ जाए, लीडरशिप स्टाइल है। ऑब्वियसली आपने क्वेश्चन का आंसर दिया, तो वो भी बहुत लंबा चला गया, बहुत लंबा। इसका बहुत खूबसूरत सा जवाब था कि जी समटाइम्स आई एम ओपन टू पार्टिसिपेशन। जी जो भी प्रॉब्लम होती है, जो मेरा स्टाइल है, मैं सबको इन्वॉल्व कर लेता हूँ। समटाइम्स ड्यू टू दी वर्क इमरजेंसी है, सिनेरियो है, कोई बोर्ड मीटिंग है, तो समटाइम्स या फ्यू टाइम्स मुझे हार्श भी होना पड़ सकता है, बट ड्यू टू द सिनेरियो इट डिपेंड्स, क्योंकि हमें उस टाइम पे नेचर ऑफ वर्क देखना है कि व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट एंड हाउ टू कंक्लूड दैट टास्क, ठीक है। तो ये आपका एक ब्यूटीफुल, एक अच्छा आंसर था कि आप उसको देके कंक्लूड कर सकते थे। दूसरा जो है वीकनेस है, मैंने आपको हमेशा बताया था कि वीकनेस जो है आपकी, हमेशा जब भी आपने बतानी है वीकनेस को आपने बताना है कि ये मेरी वीकनेस है, और बट नाउ मैंने अब क्या कर लिया, उसको स्ट्रेंथ में कन्वर्ट कर लिया है। इंटरव्यूअर का जो क्वेश्चन का ये क्वेश्चन करने का जो परसेप्शन होती है, उसकी लॉजिक होती है, वो बेसिकली देखना चाहता है कि उस वीकनेस के साथ आपने अभी उसको क्या किया, ठीक है। तो आपने उसको अब स्ट्रेंथ में कन्वर्ट करके साथ ही बता देना, ठीक हो गया। मैंने भी यही वीकनेस थी, जैसे कि अवैस ने कहा, मैंने उन्हें कहा कि जी मैं इस तरह से मेरी वीकनेस ये है कि मैं जब रीडिंग करता हूं तो मैं करते चले जाता हूं, बट मैंने इसको अब स्ट्रेंथ में कन्वर्ट कर लिया है। मैं उसको वन टाइम या सेकंड टाइम रीड करता हूं, थॉरली रीड करता हूं, और इंपॉर्टेंट लाइंस के ऊपर मैं उसको हाईलाइट कर देता हूं, बट मैंने उसको स्ट्रेंथ में कन्वर्ट कर दिया, इन शॉर्ट, ठीक हो गया। अब मैं आता हूँ बात आपकी सैलरी के ऊपर, ठीक है। अब सैलरी के ऊपर, ये सारा इंटरव्यू आपका अच्छा हुआ, और सैलरी एक समटाइम्स तो आपके पास ब्रैकेट गिवन होती है जब भी एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट आती है। आपको याद होना चाहिए, मुझे याद है कि आपको याद होना चाहिए कि आपकी सैलरी कितनी है। ग्रेचुटी अगर आपको मिलती है 1 साल बाद, तो आपको याद होना, आपको ये पता होना चाहिए। सपोज हम एक फिगर ले लेते हैं, जी मेरी 1 लाख रुपए सैलरी है, एग्जाम्पल, ठीक है। मुझे एक ग्रेचुटी मिलती है साल में, तो मैं उसको डिवाइडेड बाय 12 कर लेता हूं मैं। डिवाइडेड बाय 12 का मतलब है कि जी पर मंथ मेरे अंदर इनकम, मेरी इनकम क्या ऐड हो रहा है, इनकम में क्या ऐड हो रहा है। अगर मुझे प्रोविडेंट फंड मिल रहा है, मैं उसको ऐड कर लेता हूँ। अगर मुझे लीव एनकैशमेंट्स मिल रही हैं 33, इट मींस 1 मंथ सैलरी, तो 33 को भी मैं 12 पे ऐड डिवाइड कर देता हूं, तो मेरे पास पर मंथ, तो मैं एक टोटल पैकेज अपना माइंड में रख के जाता हूं कि मेरा ये टोटल पैकेज ये बनता है, पर्क्स एंड बेनिफिट्स डाल के, अदर देन कार एंड पेट्रोल, ठीक हो गया। अब आपको क्लैरिटी आ गई कि मेरा सैलरी पैकेज जो है, जो मैं अभी टेक होम लेके जा रहा हूं आफ्टर इंक्लूडिंग माई पर्क्स, वो है जी 150,000 प्लस कार, ठीक है। नाउ अब आपसे जब सैलरी एक्सपेक्टेशन पूछी जाती है, अगर आपको ब्रैकेट रेंज का पता है, ऑब्वियसली फिर तो आप कह सकते हैं जी अगर 200 की रेंज है तो आप कह सकते हैं, क्योंकि याद होगा हमने ये भी कहा था कि आपने कुछ ऐड करके बताना है, क्योंकि एचआर ने उसके ऊपर क्या करना है, कट लगाना है, ठीक है। तो आपको अगर यू आर टेकिंग 150 और आपको रेंज का ऑलरेडी गिवन है एडवर्टीजमेंट के ऊपर 200 के, तो आप 190 के कह सकते हैं, और उसके बाद आप और कट के ऊपर 170 पे आप एग्री कर जाइएगा, ठीक है। अगर आपको ब्रैकेट रेंज नहीं पता, तो आपसे वो फिर भी सैलरी एक्सपेक्टेशन की फिगर पूछ रहे हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली आपको पता है कि यार मेरी ये सैलरी है, तो आप उन्हें कह सकते हैं कि सर मेरी सैलरी जो है वो 150 के है, इंक्लूडिंग पर्क्स एंड बेनिफिट्स एंड अदर देन कार, ठीक हो गया। अब आपका क्या हुआ, अब जब भी इंटरव्यूअर आपको ऑफर देता है, तो वो आपसे, अब आपने अपना रिस्क कवर कर लिया कि जी आपने पर्क्स एंड बेनिफिट्स डाल के बता दिया कि सर 150 के इंक्लूडिंग पर्क्स एंड बेनिफिट अदर देन कार। तो अब आगे से जो भी वो सैलरी बार्गेन करेगा आपको पता होगा। जब आपको यही नहीं पता, कि आप ये सोचेंगे मैं इंटरव्यू में जाके पूछूंगा, कंपेयर करूंगा, अच्छा यहाँ ग्रेचुटी है तो यहाँ ग्रेचुटी है, यहाँ प्रोविडेंट फंड है तो यहाँ भी प्रोविडेंट फंड है, अच्छा ये कॉन्ट्रा हो गए, अच्छा मैं ये सैलरी, नो। आपको अगर वो पूछ रहे हैं सैलरी, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आपकी पर्क्स एंड बेनिफिट्स डाल के आपकी पर मंथ सैलरी टेक होम क्या बन रही है, आप ताकि अगर आपको क्लैरिटी हो, ठीक है। अब वो उधर पर्क्स एंड बेनिफिट्स बता भी दिए, तो अवैस वाज नॉट एबल टू गिव द आंसर करेक्टली, वो फिर भी घूम गया कि मैं क्या आंसर दूं। और यही मसला है हमारा कि हम सैलरी एक्सपेक्टेशंस में जाके कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि हमें अपना सैलरी पैकेज खुद नहीं पता। मुझे यहाँ तक मेरा सैलरी पैकेज मालूम है, मेरा टेलीफोन डाल के, मेरा फ्यूल डाल के, प्रोविडेंट फंड डाल के, ग्रेचुटी डाल के मेरा क्या टोटल पैकेज बनता है मुझे मेरे फिंगर्स पे। सो अब आपको सैलरी एक्सपेक्टेशन का कैसे आंसर देना है, ये मेरा ख्याल है आपको अच्छे तरीके से अंदाजा हो गया होगा जी। ठीक है जी, अचीवमेंट, सैलरी एक्सपेक्टेशन जी। एनीथिंग एल्स सना, any comment on my feedback because you are a subject matter expert obviously।
अरसलान, आई थिंक आपका फीडबैक काफी इन डेप्थ था। मैं सिर्फ एक चीज सैलरी एक्सपेक्टेशंस के ऊपर कहूंगी कि whenever
बिल्कुल
someone feels that there is a confusion, you don't want to commit to a number, because at times ये भी होता है ना that people are also thinking कि मैंने नंबर दे दिया तो हो सकता है they will not get back to me, या ज्यादा ना हो जाए कम ना हो जाए, they're not clear। You can always give a certain percentage, say कि जी maybe a 10% increase on my current, a 15 or a 20%. Don't say that I want like 100% increase on my wo. Do not use extravagant statements, but be reasonable. And then you can always end, अगर आप एक वो नहीं देना चाहते एक direct answer, you can always say कि जी ये मेरी expectations है, but I'm open to negotiation in terms of what you're offering, and then we can see where it goes from here. So that आपने एक अपना थोड़ा सा expectations भी बता दी, but आपने अगले को ये भी कहा कि जी मैं open हूँ, and I will always come back and see what you're offering. So there are ways of answering such questions जिनकी आप शायद close ended answers नहीं देना चाहते, and rightly so जो अरसलान ने भी बात की कि it's always important आप अपने skills को जरूर highlight करें जो आप बताना चाह रहे हैं during the interview, because interview देखो is not a repetition of what is there in the CV था तो आपको interview के लिए बुलाया है, right? CV interview is more about knowing you as a professional and as a person, and to see whether you will be you can adjust well in the organization's culture, आप क्या उसकी core values के साथ relate कर सकते हैं नहीं कर सकते। Whenever you go to an interview, read, always read their website, always see what they stand for, always see what their values are, and try to link things with it।
ठीक है,
because interview is always about you as a person, not about you as a person on a CV। ठीक है जी, this is what I'll say।
जी। इसमें सना के फीडबैक के साथ एक लास्ट थिंग जो मैं मेंशन करना चाहूंगा, एक क्वेश्चन मैंने वैसे पूछा था, देखें उस पर सना ने भी बात की थी, मैं शायद वो मैंने लिखा हुआ मैं भूल गया, आपसे मैंने पूछा था कि आप तो सीधा डिपार्टमेंट्स को मर्ज करने में लग गए और डिपार्टमेंट्स को और मतलब शायद डाउनसाइजिंग की तरफ जाना शुरू हो गए। इसमें आप ये ऑप्शन अगर आप देना चाह रहे थे तो आप इसके साथ और ऑप्शंस दे सकते थे, या ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटीज अवेलेबल हैं, रनिंग फाइनेंस हमारे पास अवेलेबल है, हमारे पास शॉर्ट टर्म लोन अवेलेबल है, हमारे पास डिबेंचर्स की ऑप्शन अवेलेबल हो सकती है, हमारे पास मनी मार्केट की अवेलेबल हो सकती है फैसिलिटी, देयर आर मेनी अदर ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल। अगर आप इस तरह की कोई ऑप्शन है, समटाइम्स ये भी होता है कि एचआर वाला ये ना समझे कि यार ये तो मुझे डाउनसाइज कर देगा मेरे रखने के बाद।
Exactly, because that's what I said, that at times in questions के ऊपर ना everybody gets fixated with the resources available।
और वैसे भी आप हाँ
जी
सना
जी, so financial controller at times in an organization is a position जो सारे finance को oversee कर रही होती है। So that person is also managing your cash funds, that person is also managing your treasury, banking, relationships। So there is a lot of room for you to explore internally कि आप क्या कर सकते हैं। You can arrange for funding, short term funding जैसे अरसलान ने कहा, अगर आपको बहुत जरूरी है। There are always options seeing कि आप क्या कर रहे हैं। तो that is why जिस position के लिए जाएं, see what answers you can give।
बिल्कुल इसी तरह है जी। देखिए ना, अब कोविड-19 में जब डाउनसाइजिंग हुई तो लोग कह रहे थे यार क्या हुआ 6 महीने के लिए नहीं रख सकते, तो सेम सिचुएशन अगर आपके पास अथॉरिटी आती है तो आपने भी कोशिश ये करनी है कि हम एम्प्लॉइज को डाउनसाइज ना करें। हाँ, दिस विल बी द लास्ट ऑप्शन, लास्ट रिजॉर्ट टू सेव द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बट नॉट द फर्स्ट। आपने तो पहला आंसर ही यही था, दिस विल बी कैन बी द लास्ट ऑप्शन। ठीक है जी। हारून, आर यू अवेलेबल हियर?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay. So, 2 interview sessions has been conducted and the feedback has been given by both of us. Now, are we going to conduct a short interview or conclude the session?
It depends. I think only 5 minutes left, so
Yes.
मेरा ख्याल है third interview ना करें। हम अगर जरूरत हुई तो एक सेशन में कुछ टाइम उधार लेके या ऐसे करें अभी there are two unmoderated sessions that have to be run, so I think we can leave it to the groups to run their own mock interviews. So for tomorrow, which is Friday and Saturday, आप लोग वापस अपने अपने ग्रुप्स में जाएंगे और you're going to run mock interviews yourself as well, ठीक है? और आप सब लोग जो बाकी attendees हैं, you listen to the experts, you have listened to the entire conversation, you have listened to the feedback. अब आपने यही स्टैंडर्ड यूज करते हुए, यही फीडबैक यूज करते हुए आपने you have to make sure कि जो मॉक इंटरव्यूज कल और परसों हो उसमें आप लोग अपनी कंट्रीब्यूशन और अपना फीडबैक दें. So I think that will be a good way to round up this entire activity. Yeah. Let me at this point take this opportunity of thanking all the experts that came in, spared their time, all pro bono by the way, and very, very useful. Directly hearing from what happens to your resume when it lands on the table of an HR expert. What happens to you when you go on to an interview but never get a call back? You know, what happens at the back of all that? I think ये इतने valuable sessions थे कि मेरा ख्याल है कि इसके बाद आपको किसी एक्सपर्ट के पास या किसी और इंडिविजुअल के पास जाके पूछने की या रेफरेंस की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. You will automatically that what could have been a reason. वो जो सिचुएशन होती है ना कि क्लूलेस, मैंने तो जी इतनी जगह सीवी भेजा था मुझे कॉल नहीं आई, वो सिचुएशन नहीं होगी. If you've constructed your resume as per the advice given by all the experts, and if you have taken care of all the suggestions that they have made regarding your interviews, I am pretty sure definitely start getting acceptance from various organizations. So I think a very, very well conducted activity rounded up. I think excellent learning. देखिए किसी भी ट्रेनिंग के बाद जो सबसे मुश्किल लम्हा होता है, और ये अगर आप इंटरनेशनल ट्रेनर्स या नेशनल ट्रेनर्स भी जो हैं उनसे भी अगर आप पूछेंगे तो एक बहुत स्मॉल परसेंटेज होती है उन लोगों की जो ये सारी लर्निंग को प्रैक्टिकली अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. और अगर मैं इसका एक एम्पिरिकल फॉर्मूला आपको दूं तो रफली अराउंड 10% लोग जो लर्निंग्स एक्वायर करते हैं किसी ट्रेनिंग से उसको इन रियल प्रैक्टिस अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. आई थिंक ACCA ने और सारे एक्सपर्ट्स ने सबने मिलकर लिटरली जितना प्रैक्टिकली इसको एक्सप्लोर किया है, जितना प्रैक्टिकली इसको ड्रिल डाउन किया है, जितनी एक्टिविटीज इसकी बेसिस पे कराई हैं, जितनी एक्सरसाइजिंग कराई है, आई थिंक इट शुड हैव बिकम एम्पली क्लियर नाउ कि आपने क्या चीजें अवॉइड करनी है और क्या चीजें आपने अडॉप्ट करनी है. However, having said that, अभी भी there were about 80 people in the call. I saw 85. सिर्फ 6 या 7 लोग थे जो या 8 लोग थे जो इस सेशन में बोल रहे थे या जिनका इंटरव्यू किया जा रहा था या इंटरव्यू ले रहे थे, बाकी सब सुन रहे थे. Those who were listening, now it is your time to practice this yourself. ठीक है, इसको यहाँ छोड़ना नहीं है. जैसे मैंने कल के सेशन के बाद भी कहा था, इससे पहले कि ये सब चीजें आपके जहन से महव हो जाएं, you must sit down, you must list down all your thoughts. There are recordings of these sessions available. View the recordings again. There is no harm. Okay, so view those recordings again till the time these tips are on the tips of your fingers also. Right? ये जो अभी expert opinion जो सब लोगों ने दिए, ये आपके finger tips पे हो और आपको पता होगा इनको कब किस वक्त यूज करना है. So I think without any further ado, it's 9 o'clock as well. We will bring the session to a close, but let me thank first of all Sana. She's present here. She's taken time out. Those sessions में आप लोगों के साथ थी. I think if nothing else, all those people who can unmute themselves, if they can unmute and give a big round of applause, and I will join all of you. Please unmute yourselves and give a big round of applause to Sana Shiraz. Believe me, जो experts होते हैं उनके लिए ये सबसे बड़ा reward होता है, that people have listened to them, listened to their conversation, taken their advice. So a big round of applause for Salam. He would set aside his work and he will, sorry, somebody muted me. Okay. All right. So I said every day in the evening, he will get back from his work and he will join the session and he will work for, work towards making sure that all the students, the affiliates and members get an employment. And that individual is none other than Hafiz Arsalan Shabir. I think all of us are indebted, Arsalan, for your efforts. You taking time out. You were the individual जिन्होंने Sana को, Ali को, Wajiha को सबको engage किया, brought them in, request किया कि हमारे members के साथ and students affiliates के साथ अपनी expertise share करें. So thank you so very much, Arsalan, and I think a big round of applause for you as well. I think you have definitely played the role of an MNP member. You've definitely played the role of the chair of the most important subcommittee, and that's the employability subcommittee. In future also, and Arsalan does all this again pro bono without any interest of without any charges, without getting any money. But I think that's a very, very big service, and I am sure all of you will remain in contact with him even afterwards for your little employability needs, little or big employability needs. So thank you all very much. We will now see each other back into our groups, which is members and affiliates and students. So Monday का session members का होगा, affiliates and students अपने पुराने link पे जाके session join करेंगे on Monday and on Tuesday. And हमारे अगले sessions क्या होंगे, इसके लिए मैं आपको I will be updating you on the WhatsApp groups, inshallah. So please stay connected. Feedback दीजिएगा about this session. Learnings share कीजिएगा. जो लोग नहीं आ सके किसी वजह से, उनके साथ मुत्तहिद प्लीज सेशन के रिकॉर्डिंग लिंक्स जो हैं वो आप गो टू वेबिनार ये व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स पे डाल दीजिएगा. So I think everybody will then be able to get benefit out of these sessions conducted. चलिए जनाब, thank you so very much and have a nice weekend as well. Enjoy.
Pleasure being with you guys. Thank you, Ji.
And sorry, I forgot to praise the judges as well. So appreciation and our sincere thanks to those who became judges and experts also. So thank you so very much. Take good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.